Hey there, YouTube gardeners. Well, I just got off work not too long ago, and I thought the best way to end the evening would be a quick harvest tour. So I'm going to take you all with me to go on out into the garden and harvest some tomatoes and whatever else is ripe. So I think there's probably some blackberries. I know there's some tomatoes, and I don't know what else. So let's go harvest, you guys. Hey y'all, this black greenhouse fabric has worked fantastic out in the garden this year as weed control. There are some places that I didn't put it that I probably should have, but hey, next year I'll do better. I change the garden every year. I'm always adding something to it, always trying to make it better, more efficient, more easy to handle. So look at that. Isn't that beautiful? No weeds. Last year I was overwhelmed with weeds. And oh my goodness, look at those tomatoes. So my favorite way to check a tomato is to see how soft it is. Even sometimes when it looks like it's the right color, it may not be the right feel for me. So this one, even though it is not quite as yellow as I want it to be, it is the right feel. It's nice and soft. And if I wait much longer, it's probably going to be too soft, so I'm going to go ahead and harvest this. Isn't that a beautiful tomato? That one's starting to get soft. Those are starting to get soft, but they're not quite there. These are good and soft. Some of them have fell to the ground. I don't know if it's the storm that we had the other night or what, but look at that. They're on the ground all down through there. Over there. Over here. Over here. Over there. I think it was the storm. I don't think I've been out here since the storm, so. Oh wow, I see one on the ground all the way out there, a big green one. Anyway, let's get back to harvesting. These are beefsteaks, just regular old beefsteaks, and they're delicious. These are yellow tomatoes. These are actually my favorite yellow tomato. These are the Dr. Witchies. And that one's good and soft. That one is. Look how beautiful. Actually, those are the Chef's Choice Bicolor. Sorry, I told you wrong. The Dr. Witchies is a little more orange. So there's the Dr. Witchies. See if I can get to it. And I'll show you the difference in color. See the difference. One of them's quite a bit more orange than the other. I'm going to take these that have fell, and we'll take them in the ground. I'm going to take them in the house and see if I can get them to ripen. This is a Bella Rosa. It's not quite ready. I've got some mortgage lifters that are ready. Look how red. Isn't that beautiful? This is a vintage wine. This one's starting to get a little bit of sunburn. Right there. I'm going to take this one in the house and let it finish ripening. It's still got quite a bit of green in it, but it's getting pretty soft. Oh, and look right there. This is one of my Lesia peppers. And it is supposed to be one of the sweetest peppers ever known to man. It's almost ripe. I'm so excited. Look at these big daddies right here. I don't even know what kind these are. This is one of the plants that I lost the label to way early on. And so I didn't want to give it away not knowing what it was or try to sell it. And so I just planted it. And look at those big tomatoes. Doesn't really matter what kind it is, they're going to be delicious. My peppers have been so stunted this year. I think it was the cool weather early on that caused it. And they've just never really fully recovered. They are starting to put out a little bit now. But I mean, I should have had peppers long ago. I mean, some of them I could probably go ahead and pull off and harvest. And I may grab a couple of them to try and encourage them to grow even more. And as a matter of fact, I think I'll go ahead and harvest this and let it finish ripening on the counter. They don't ripen as fast as tomatoes do, but they will ripen. But you have to be careful. Sometimes they'll get soft before they ripen, so you can't pluck them too early. These are the Gilberties. Honestly, and I am not really impressed with these, but seems to have been my experience that almost all paste tomatoes seem to do that. They ripen down here really fast, and then up at the top they kind of stay green, so I end up wasting that much tomato because I'm not going to use the part that's green. But the part that's red does taste good. And there is one of my melons. I'm not sure if it's a cantaloupe or a petite gris de reine or even a kajari. I'm not sure which one it is because I lost the labels to that too. So I planted that kind of at the last minute. And it is finally just now starting to take off. I don't know if it will be able to produce any fruit that will make it to harvest or not. We'll find out. I've had my eye on these onions. That one there is a shallot. I think I'm gonna go ahead and harvest that one. That's pretty big for a shallot, I think. Oh wow, that was hard to pull up. Pretty good size. I think I'm gonna have to get another basket, y'all. Starting to see some peppers on these now. These are actually supposed to be red peppers, but I think I'm going to go ahead and pluck one while it's green and maybe encourage more growth on that plant. They're sweet peppers, so it doesn't really matter if you pluck them while they're green. They're going to be sweet no matter what, but if you leave it on there until it turns red, it's super sweet. Oh, and look how big these giant Marconis are getting. That's good size. Those are supposed to be red though, so we're not going to pluck that just yet. There's one that's turning red. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm going to give it a couple more days though. There's another pepper. I may wait and see if that one's going to turn red. Sometimes it takes them a while. There's another melon of some sort. Again, I don't know what kind it is. I have so many mystery fruits growing, it's not even funny. How about a cucumber? We're going to have to pluck it early because this plant is starting to die out. And that's sticky. It's sticking me. To rub some of this sticky stuff off of it. I had one of those to get in my finger one day like a splinter, and I like to never got that thing out. We're going to have to go get another basket. These are the black strawberry cherry tomatoes, and those are so beautiful. They are a little bigger than cherry tomatoes, though, as you can see. They're probably closer to the size of a plum, maybe. But they are beautiful, and they are delicious. Look at all those black strawberry cherry tomatoes. Okay, moving on to the snow white cherry tomatoes, which are everywhere. They are a yellow cherry tomato, cream colored. That one is split. We had a big storm the other night, and I'd say it's caused a bunch of them to split. A lot of rain at once. Aren't those pretty? And they're hiding among all of the cherry tomatoes. If I can get in there, I'll go to the other side and get it. That is a German Johnson. Let's get that German Johnson. That is my very favorite big tomato. These are the Super Sweet 100, and these are the Sun Gold, and they are literally growing everywhere. And look at all the ones that are already in the basket. So I literally cannot make up my mind as to which one I like better, the Super Sweet 100 or the Sun Gold. I done a taste test earlier in the year between the Sun Gold and the Super Sweet 100, and I did choose the Sun Gold. But it's like every time I eat one of the Super Sweet 100s, it's like, oh no, wait, I like that better than the Sun Gold. Then I'll eat a Sun Gold and I'm like, oh no, I like that better than the Super Sweet 100. So I literally cannot make up my mind, you guys. But I know this. These are two cherry tomatoes that will always be in my garden. They are so delicious and so prolific. I have never had tomatoes that produce quite like these. They are so prolific. And they look like little grapes all over the place. They're just so beautiful. And you know, my husband really gives me a hard time about eating them straight out of the garden. Oh, but I cannot resist. That is one of my favorite things to do. I love them. They are so sweet. It's like eating candy. You just wouldn't believe, y'all. If you've never tried a Sun Gold or a Super Sweet 100, you really need to try that. Sun Gold. So sweet. And I do wipe it off on my clothes just a little bit. It still has to be better than what we buy in the grocery store, y'all. Seriously. Look how big the plant is getting. Vines everywhere. And I mean, look down at the other end. So compared to those other cherry tomatoes, these are still in so much better shape. A lot less disease. So they're very disease resistant. They're so prolific and they taste better than any tomato, any cherry tomato that I've ever had. You all, these are just the best. And look at that harvest. Isn't that awesome? I'll tell you what though, guys, seriously, I'm going to have to find something else to do with these little cherry tomatoes besides eating them fresh. So I'm going to have to come up with something because they're really starting to come in now and I am getting overrun in cherry tomatoes. So I got to figure something out. This is another vintage wine and it's starting to get pretty soft. I think I'm just going to go ahead and harvest it and let it finish ripening in the house. Now see, this is cat facing, and I've told you all about that before. If you've followed me very long, you know what cat facing is. That is just where two or more blossoms come together, and it's like tomatoes fusing together because they literally grow together. So this would have probably been a couple, 2, maybe 3 tomatoes had they not fused together. And there's nothing wrong with eating those. So that's all out here in the in-ground garden. I'm going to have to go get another basket now before I go to pick blackberries. And it's starting to get dark, so I'm going to have to step it up, y'all. So I have to keep the blackberry bush covered up because I have so many Japanese beetles. It is ridiculous. So my daughter and her boyfriend were up here the other day, and they picked a whole bunch of the blackberries. So I may not have a whole lot, but I mean, I can still see several. So let's get to picking, y'all. So I didn't get a whole lot of blackberries, but I did get some. So next year I am going to do so much better with these blackberries and the raspberries. Never grown them before. Well, I had them last year, but they were not very big. And so this year when they started getting big, I was not prepared for it. They need a trellis or a fence or something to grow up, something that you can keep them off the ground with. Oh my gosh, you guys. Those are the soldakis. I'm so excited about those. Well, that's not exactly what I meant to do. It's hard to do with one hand. Oh, that one's beautiful. The camera just does not do it justice, you guys. Got a couple spots in it, but that is no big deal at all. Wow. Woo! Yeah, I thought that was a spider. Oh yeah, if y'all want to see me jump, let me think a spider's around. You'll see me dance the jig really quick. Oh, these are really starting to turn. I could probably leave that one on there another day, and I think I will, just because I have so many to harvest already. And I'll tell you what, I am going to do a tomato taste test with the soldaki, the Jerusalem, and the German Johnson, and I think the soldaki is really going to give the German Johnson a run for its money. I am really liking the soldaki, and it is actually more disease resistant than probably any of the big heirloom tomatoes I've had this year or any other year so far. And I don't have any melons that are ready to harvest, but I'm going to show you one. Anyway, I think these are just regular cantaloupes. I think it is the Iraqi cantaloupes. Again, I know this is probably the 4th or 5th time you've heard me say it today, but I lost the label to that. There's another one over there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, and I can't reach it, but so there's several on that. And then here are these beauties growing here on the trellis. And this one is even bigger. I probably should get a little netting or something to support those so they don't fall off, but I believe those are the Petit Gris de Rennes. And when it gets a little bit bigger, I'll know for sure. And then out here, this is my volunteer cherry tomatoes, and I'm almost positive these are the yellow bumblebee tomatoes. None of those are ripe yet, but it shouldn't be long. Actually, I'm going to go back and get this soldaki because if it rains again. This one is so close to ripe, it may bust. And look what I done. Stripped it right there. Oh, I hate that. Especially because there's another tomato on there. Oh well, nothing to do about it now. It'll ripen soon and I'll be able to pluck it off of there. Well, I think I'm going to call that a wrap, you guys. We've got quite a harvest, and I'll do a little flash of all of it together after I get in the house with this last basket. But I hope you all have a great night. God bless you, and keep growing those tomatoes, y'all. Well, there it is, guys. That's all of the harvest for today. So got a little bit of everything, really. And here they are, spread out just a little bit better.